Hi guys and welcome. So today is Sunday, November 10th. Gosh, we don't need December to be here already. I'm a little crooked here. We'll see if we can get this to work. All right. So anyway, we're going to talk again about gatefold cards. Now we're going to do one together right now, but I am going to show you the 12 examples that we went through yesterday. Now remember, a gatefold card is what you make it. Now let me show you. I am using, I dropped. Usually a gatefold card, I want to use cardstock for my base, but you can use designer series paper. This is the Season of Green and Gold. It's an online exclusive. I looked this morning, it's still available. So we could use one of these for our base card. I think I'm going to use this one. I was trying to find one that had a good contrast. So these two have good contrasts between the two, so that if you used it as a gatefold, it would really show up nicely. Ooh, I love that plaid though. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's decide between these two. But then I'm going to show you, we're going to fold it, then I'm going to show you, we'll probably end up using it as my layering pieces. So I cut mine in 6 by 12. So we want to make this 4 1/4 by 11. So I'll bring this out. I could just cut it off at the 1 inch, but just to show you. So here's 4 1/4 by 11. Now these are good pieces to have. Let me show you why. All right, when you are using designer series paper, you want to score very lightly. So what I am going to do on this is I am going to score at, let me think, 1 6. So I'm going very lightly. And I'm going, so at 1 and at 6. So I'm going to go very lightly on that. So then here is my card. Now, if I like folding it this way, so you have a full edge. If you want this little flap, you would either take off just a sliver on this side, or when you go to score this side, you would go just a little bit short of that 6 mark. Does that make sense? So when we went here and scored, and when here and scored, instead of going straight to 6, I would have gone just a little bit under. That way, this flap, if you want to tuck it in, will lay flat and feel better. But I like having it a full length, just like that. And also, so you know, when I do this, I usually will cut this down just a little bit. Because see, this is going to end up being 5 inches here. I'll usually cut this down a little bit so I can layer it on a piece of cardstock. Let me show you what I mean. Let me see if I can grab a piece of, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one that coordinates. Here you go. Now this is still a card layer. This is not a card, but it's just so you can see. If I wanted to, I could cut this down. And let me see. Let me show you a full. And I don't have a good green cut out. Well, maybe I do. Here you go. This is a full card, which I would cut down to a panel, right? So right now, if you put it on this, you're going to have a little bit. So I would cut a little bit off if I was going to do that. So it looks like that's about 1 inch, right? No, that's a 1/2 inch. So since I know a card base is 4 1/4 that way, I would cut this down to 3 3/4. That's if you didn't want to use this as the base of your card. And I usually don't because it is a different consistency. Let me cut this down to a base so you can see what I'm saying. And I'm just going to cut on the inside of that score mark because if I cut right on the score mark, we might get a little jaggedy. So now you have just a panel, and you can layer that on your panel. All right. Then I also like and this is just me, because there's so much here, I will take a piece of vanilla or white cardstock, and then I will cut this down. So right now we have this at 3 3/4, and their inside here is 5. So I would go to 3.5 by 4 3/4. Now remember, these are all layers on my layer kit, so they're very, very common sizes that I use. And the reason I would do this is that I would then, because I want to have a little bit of a layering piece here. Let me show you. If we folded it the other way, if we had our fold going the other way, it might show up better. So then I would put this so that it's a layering piece inside of here. And this is where you could write. All right. You also want to be careful if you're folding and back folding designer series paper too much. You can possibly crack it. All right. So I'm going to go right here into my fold. You see, I don't want to go too much in, so I'm just going to lay down a layer and another one right by it. That way I know that all my adhesive is covered. So now you have like that. So if you want to show all this beautiful, and if it was a different kind of backside, you might want to show more of it. All right, so let's finish up this card. So you really don't need a lot on the front because it's so gorgeous. We are using, let me grab it out. Did I put it back on my shelf? Nope. So this is all part of, on the online exclusive, this is all part of a bundle. So this paper, this die set, and this greeting set. All right. So let me find a die that I like. I'm not going to tape this down yet because I might still want to stamp and all that. We're still figuring this out. So I'm thinking that I may want this big die. And let's see. That little and sign always. So that's not going to fit in that die. So maybe I'll use this one. Yes, that looks good. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to cut this out of Very Vanilla. Let me put this over here because I know I'm going to use that. Let me get this over here. You know, my friends tell me that it would be so much easier if I just planned these out before I did them. But that's not me. That's not showing you how I create on the go live. All right, so let me go ahead. Let me grab my platform and my 3 plates. So we're going to cut this out. All right. I'm trying to do this quietly so it doesn't, because I know it's loud in your ears. So I have base 1, platform 1, thin die adapter 2, which is your most normal sandwich. And then I have 2 3s. All right, I don't think this will fit this way. Oh, it does, because then I can use the cardstock for the inside too. So let me go in here. We're just going to cut this out. I should have angled it a little bit because there's a lot of cutting surface that's going straight through on the rollers. Sometimes if you angle it just a little bit, your paper and your die, it goes through a lot smoother because not all the pressure is on the rollers at once. So then look at that. Isn't that a pretty? Very pretty. All right, I'm gonna put this over here because I might use that for my extra piece. Put this on my chair because we might have to use it again. Don't want to put it on my counter and then wonder where I put it, because you know I would do that. All right, so let's look at this. So that, I like that, and that is garden green. So let me get my garden green stamp pad. Let me get a block. Oh, I have so many stamp pads over here on the side because I've been getting ready for that craft show all day yesterday. All right, so I'm going to put this here so it's lined up pretty good. Yeah, I want my ribbon to go out that way, so yes, I'm going to use ribbon too, guys. I know you can't believe it because I rarely use ribbon, but I'm going to. I'm not sure if I have, let's see, I think I'll just use my basic beige ribbon. And let me get my snips that are for ribbon only. I know that because I have a little ribbon tied on it. And let's just go ahead and cut a good length off. Because all I'm going to do, because you guys know me, I don't tie bows very good. I'll get out my bow maker and I'll cut off a bunch at a time. But yes, I'm not good in the bow area. Let me try to get that through there. It's a very tiny hole. I think it was more meant for like gold cord, but I don't think I have any cord or any of that right now. Now, another thing you want to do when you're doing this is you want to hang on, because you don't want to rip your card. I probably did that upside down because that's the better side, but we're going to leave it as is. No, we're not. Little things like that. And I could stamp on the other side, but it doesn't always mean it's going to be good. So I'm going to go down this way. I can do math, but you know, science and spatial relations, sometimes I'm not the greatest at that. All right, so again, I'm going to hold on, get it closer, and then once I get down here, I'm going to hold on to it so I don't rip that. There, that looks better. And let's go ahead and just snip off some of those ends. Oops. Didn't do that very good. And yeah, there was a little bit of ribbon that I threw away there, but and this is just a little of my ribbon. This isn't including anything that's in a mini catalog. I tend to hoard ribbon. I buy it, but then I don't use it. If you've watched my videos, you know I don't use a lot of ribbon. So it doesn't matter if I'm throwing a little bit more away. All right, and now let's look. I think that's all we want to do on that. If we wanted to, we could put a nice little strip there, but I'm just going to put it like this. Now, yes, this is going off your card, but ribbon is flexible. So when you go to put it in an envelope, you'll be fine. All right, let's go ahead and pop those up with dimensionals. Oh, my goodness. This is just dimensionals. I put packing tape on there so all the little backings stick to the tape and not to the dimensionals. That way I don't have to worry about peeling things off and having those little backings all over the place. Especially now with my dog being, excuse me, Sorry. With my dog being on chemo, he doesn't have much of an appetite, so he really like these weird looking things like dimensional backings. He finds interesting, and we don't need him to put anything in his system that's not supposed to be in his system. All right, so we're going to go ahead, line this up so it's somewhat straight, so I can get this straight on my card. And you're probably saying, Roxy, why'd you leave so much there? I was looking to see if there was a stamp, if there was a stamp in there, like a bell or something, but there's not. So I'm going to go to my ephemera pack. This is the Joyful Sayings ephemera pack. I'm just going to see if I can find something. No. I was trying to see if I could find something like that that would go nicely. What does that say? It says Happy Holidays. So I could put that there. And maybe I will. Because if I put 'Tis the Season, that's kind of repeating what I have right on front. And everything else, I don't think... Oh, here's a Noel, but I think that's too big for the tag. Yeah, so that would overshadow it quite a bit. Oh, look at that. Oh, let's do that, because that kind of goes in with the whole gold look there. Yeah, because the other says Happy Christmas, so that's kind of repeating itself. This has red, which we don't really have red in there. So yeah, let's just go ahead and use that one for right now. I really should have looked at these before I threw them all in here. Oops, we don't want to put that designer series paper in there. Like usually before I rip them up, and I have a pack left that hasn't been opened. Oops, sorry, I hit the camera. So I usually will photocopy these just so I can see what's in there. But let's just go with that. I really like the way that looks. Here we're just going to put a little adhesive on the back. I don't even know if that came off. There we go. Oh no. Let me see if I can get that. It's one of my medicine. One of my medicine things. Oh, hang on. I'm going to take the camera down. I'm sorry. Just a second, guys. Sorry about that. Let's look at this back into focus now. Sorry. So we got a little bit of adhesive on there. Yeah, I'll have to clean that off later. I'll just put that. Now I'm looking at that. I kind of did that crooked, but we're okay. All right. So now, don't think I want to put anything on the inside there. I could put a strip there of that, but I think I'm going to leave that so that if you guys wanted to actually write something there, that's where you could write your message. You could put a photo inside of here if you're sending this as a Christmas card. But then let's go ahead and let's just go ahead and put that on here. And there you are. There is a fun fold with designer series paper. Like I said, I usually like doing it with the card itself. But this, with the background it is, turns out to be pretty nice. And like I said, you can write your message here, and you can go like this if you're worried about writing on too many layers. And then you could always have a picture underneath here or whatever. So there you are, guys. Let's go over. I didn't put greetings on the folds we did yesterday, but I did add designer series paper. And I'm trying to use up my designer series paper just because this paper, oh, I'm a little off and you're seeing the, let me see if I can move this up just a little bit so there's a little bit less of that shine there. That's from my stack there. Anyway, all right, so here's the different ones. This one is a fold-in card, so I put adhesive at the very bottom of this. So you could send it out like this, but you also can fold it under as a card like that. You'd put your greeting here. Here. So this one was one of those overlapping gatefolds. Sorry. This I did like a pocket card. So you could put, you know, a gift card in there. You could put a picture in there. But then you have a different layer here. Here's one that meets in the middle. I just put the designer series paper on the flaps. Now on this, let me grab out from my little bin here. Oops. Because you know I have a lot of little pieces apart, but I always have these extra pieces here. So you could find something, put your tape on this side, and that would help keep it closed. Let me find one. I'm thinking white's going to be too stark. Yeah, that white's too stark. So I probably would do something like this. I would stamp on this. Should we do the same? Sorry. Sinuses, man, Sunday, today, they really kicked in. My nose is so full, but I'm not going to do a pause like I did last time. What was it, last weekend or the weekend before? And I ended up really stopping the video, so it was 2 parts you had to watch. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our Night of Navy. Now, I'm not going to show you how to finish off all these cards, but I'm just showing you how we went ahead and this I would do off the side here because I would probably put little embellishments on this. So that's Night of Navy. And then you would just put adhesive on this side. And then you have like your flap card. All right. Here's one that's an overlapping, so it doesn't meet up square to square. So this is a good way to use up those scraps too. See how I use a strip that I probably made a layer out of? And this card could be either way. You could have it this way. You could have it this way. Either way, it's going to work out. Here's this. This is the back side of that designer series paper. So here you have plenty of room for a greeting and for writing. Here's similar to what we did today, except I made it thicker on this side. And I didn't layer. I didn't use the designer series paper as my folding layer. Here I just used the regular cardstock. All of this is boho blue because I'm trying to use it up because it's going to retire soon. Well, end of April. Again, here's this. Here you can see I put 2 pieces together. because I'm trying to use up those scraps. So you could have it open like that, or have it open like that. Here's another one. Here we had the wider flaps. So whichever way you'd prefer to have it overlap. Here's one that meets in the middle. So this is not an offset gatefold. This is just a true gatefold that meets in the middle. That might be upside down. Look how the flowers are. All right. This is an overlapping. Again, I think I have that upside down. Nope, the trees. Gotta look at the trees. So I would fold it like this. So you can see there's two different designer series papers, so you know that it's going to open that way. So you could have a message there and then write in here. Or again, you could have a picture here. You could write right on this because this is very light. Here's another traditional meets in the middle. And last but not least, here's this one, also meets in the middle. All right, guys. Put this back over here, my little stack. So there's the one we did today. Using that Season of Green and Gold from the online exclusives. Using the die and Greetings from Greetings of the Season, which is part of that suite. So you can buy the bundle. So you can buy the stamp and the dies as a bundle. You can buy everything individually. I wouldn't do that for the bundle. But like for the paper, the designer series paper, and the all the adhesives, and I'm sorry, embellishments and ribbon that comes with it, you can do it as this suite. I just ordered the bundle and the DSP. I didn't buy the other stuff that was in the suite. But there you are. There's another way to use gatefold cards. Alright guys, give me a thumbs up if you could. Like me on social media. I'm sorry, that is your like. Share me on your social media. Send me a comment. Tell me what you think about this. Most of all, just get out there and start playing. Gatefold cards there's endless possibilities and endless measurements that you can use. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye for now.